Watermelon, watermelon. Boop. Hello, welcome to my video. This is going to be more of a documentary more than a tutorial, but I'll do my best to explain everything. I had a month off of work and I wanted something fun to do. I like to sew and crochet, and I did some research. I wanted a cute little cardigan, and I found a video on YouTube, Harry Styles cardigan that was popular this summer. So I decided, hey, that looks cute, let's do this. And I decided to try it out. So I'll be posting pics and links to videos that helped me to make this. I will post as much information as I can so that anyone who wants to make it like me can do it and be fabulous. So yeah, I first started by making little squares. Insert picture of square here. I'm just going to show you the different stitching for each one closely. So the yellow one is chain 3 and then you double crochet in the next stitch. As you can see, it creates these little waves. It's not very straight, so I don't like this. I'm not going to make this one. This is the orange. This technique is chain 3 and skip the first stitch as you count the chain 3 as a stitch. But as you can see, it creates these big holes here that aren't very pretty. So I don't like this method either, so I'm not going to be doing this one. So this is pink. The pink one I really like. The edges are straight. There's no holes. So this method was chain 2, and I didn't skip any stitches, and I double crocheted all the way until the last stitch. At the last stitch, I would double crochet twice but fuse together into one. So I'll show you how to do that in a moment. What I did for this one was single crochet in the first stitch, and then I single crocheted in the post of the first single crochet that I just did, creating a double crochet. And I will also show you how to do this. The other method I found, which I will post a video because I struggled with this one, is you extend the loop on your hook and yarn over with it to create a double stitch on your first stitch. But I did not like this, but if you like it, that's fine. I will post a video of someone that I think does it perfectly. It's just not for me. Let's start with the yellow. Let's do a slip knot. And then chain 10. So yarn over and go in the hole. Yarn over and go in the hole 10 times. Okay, so we got 10 chains. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So we're gonna make 3 extra ones. 2, 3. Yarn over to start our double crochets, and we're gonna go in the 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one from the hook and start a double crochet. So we're gonna insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through the first 2, yarn over, go through the next 2. So that's your first double crochet, and then you're going to do the same all the way to the end. For the orange method, you start the same way. You will do a slip knot and chain 10. 1, 2. Now that I chained all the way to 10, I'm going to chain an extra 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over. We're going to start a double crochet and skip the 1, 2, 3 and the 4th and go in the 5th. We're going to count the chains that we just did as a double crochet. So do this. So this would be 1, 2, and then this would be 3 double crochet. and then we go all the way to the end. Okay, so we're at the last one. I have 9, so we need to get into the chain. So we're gonna yarn over, and then the last chain is this one right here. So we're gonna grab it, yarn over, go through, yarn over, first 2, yarn over, the last 2. Yay! For the pink, we're going to slip knot and then chain 10. So 1, 2, and I'll see you at 10. Okay, so I did 10. Now we're going to chain only 2 extra. 1, 2, yarn over, and we're going to stitch not in the first, not in the second, but in the third. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and the second 2. So that's our first double crochet, and we're going to do that until the before last one. I'll see you at the last. Okay, so I'm at the last stitch here. So we're going to yarn over, go through the last stitch, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through the first 2, and we're going to stop here. And then we're going to yarn over, go in through the hole again, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through the first 2. So now we have 3. And we're going to yarn over and go through all of it. So now we did 2 double crochets into 1. Yeah, so I'll show you again. We're going to chain 2 and turn. So we're going to yarn over, skip these 2 chains, go through the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over the next 2. Okay, now we're going to do this all the way until the last stitch, and I'll meet you there to explain again. Now we're ready, so we're going to yarn over and go through the last stitch, yarn over and go through, yarn over and go through the first 2. So that's the start of our first double crochet, and then we're going to do the second one. So we're going to yarn over, go through the same hole, yarn over and go through, yarn over, go through the first 2 so that we have 3 on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and go through all 3, so then we have 2 double crochets fused into 1. Beautiful. Now for the purple method, we're going to slip knot and chain 10 again. 1, 2, see you at the 10. 10 chains. Now for this one, we're going to go straight into the first stitch and single crochet. Beautiful. And then we're going to single crochet in the post right here of the single crochet we just did, and this will create a double crochet. And then the rest of the way we're going to double crochet as normal. So we're at the end. We're going to do our last double crochet in the last stitch here. And then we're going to turn our work. The first time it was a little bit difficult because it was through the chain. So we're going to do it again. It should be a little easier now. So we're going to go directly into the first stitch, do a single crochet, and then in the post right here that we just did, we're going to go in there and do another single crochet to create the double crochet at the end here. See how nice it is? And then double crochet across. So the blue method, again, we're going to do a slip knot and chain 10. 1, 2. Guys, this one's really hard. I really don't like it. I struggle with it. I'm still gonna show you, but like this one's making me frustrated and it's not making this fun. So I'm gonna show you and then not do it again. I hate it. For the blue method, we're gonna extend here, and then secure it with our finger, yarn over, go through the first stitch, and then we're going to grab the yarn and go through, grab the yarn again, go through the first 2 hole through loops, and then grab it again and the next 2 loops. This one is not my forte, so it doesn't look perfect. I will post a link with a better person that explains it perfectly. And then you double crochet across. Okay, we're at the last stitch, so we're just going to double crochet as normal. And then we're going to turn our work. You can do any of the stitches that you prefer. They're all nice and good. I just don't like some of them and have difficulty with others. But it's all up to you what you like and what makes you happy, okay? This was a 6mm hook and it did not look very good because there was too many holes. So I decided to redo it in size 5. So my rectangle squares, I want them to be 10 centimeters by 14 centimeters. So I'm going to be working my gauges until I get the look I want. These are my squares for my 5mm hook. I think the holes are still a little bit too big, so I'm going to try again with a 4mm hook. So you can do whichever method that you like, but I will be eliminating the yellow and the orange and concentrating on the pink and the purple, and I will definitely not do the blue because I struggle with this one. So I didn't have a 4mm hook, so I had to do 4.5mm hook. This is what it looks like. You see the holes are becoming smaller. Just to show you again, the yellow had the waves, and then this one had the big holes. And I'm gonna do one of these 2 methods, pink or purple. And I didn't do the blue because I had trouble with it. But instead with the blue, I did the same as the pink, but I only crocheted in the back loop. So it does kind of like a knitted effect on both sides, like a rib. So that's nice. And also instead of chaining on the bottom, I did a cord stitch. So I can show you that later as well. So there is another way to start your project instead of the chain. It's like a cord and it's a little bit more stretchy. So we're going to slip knot, then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to yarn over and go in through the 3rd one from the hook. 1, 2, 3. Do this one. Pop. Yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and go only through the first one, creating a chain. This will be our base chain. And then we're going to yarn over and go through all 3. I'll do it again, no worries. So we're going to yarn over, go through the chain here that we dropped right here, and then yarn over, go through, and then yarn over, go only through the first one. That will be a dropped chain to continue our base. And then yarn over and go through all 3. And then we're going to do it again. So we're going to yarn over. So this is our dropped chain right here. And go through that one. Yarn over, go through, yarn over, drop the chain for the next one. Yarn over and go through all 3. So yay! So we have, counting the first chain, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make our 5th one. Yarn over, go through the dropped chain, yarn over, go through, have 3 on the hook. We're going to drop our chain for next time. Here it is, and then yarn over and go through all 3. So you do this for as many stitches as you want it to be, or as wide as you want it to be. So I want to do 10 stitches for this little tutorial, so I'll be back when I do 10. So this is my base that I did, and I chained 2. Now I'm gonna yarn over and I'm gonna go in the first stitch, but not like this like we normally do. I'm gonna go just in the back loop. Now let's see what's gonna do. Okay, so yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through the first two, yarn over, go through the next two. Noise, and I'll show you again. So yarn over, next stitch is here, but we won't go through. We're gonna go just in the back and do a normal double crochet like we would usually do. Okay, and then we're gonna go all the way across. So I'm at the last one. This was the chains at the beginning. So I'm going to yarn over, go through the first one, yarn over, and then yarn over, and we're gonna keep this here. That's our first double crochet, and then yarn over, and then we're gonna put our second one in the same one. So yarn over, go through, and then we should have 3, and then we go through all 3 of them. See how it does this cute little knitted effect? We're going to again chain 2, turn our work. So I'm on my last stitch, so we're gonna go in the back loop, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go only through the first 2. That creates our first double crochet. Yarn over so we can fuse 2 double crochets together, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through only the first 2. Now we have 3. So now we're going to fuse them together, yarn over, go through all 3. So we have 2 and 1. So let's see what this knitted effect looks like. It's a little bit loose because I use a 6mm hook, but you can see how there's like a knitted effect here, and on the other side right here it's nice and stretchy. It is 3-dimensional. I like it instead of flat, but I did use a 6mm hook, so the holes are big. Just because I don't have the 4mm hook, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my 3.75mm hook to see how that looks. So here is the 3.75mm hook. The holes are a lot smaller. I like how it looks. I decided to use the knit effect by crocheting in the back because it gave it a more 3-dimensional look instead of just flat and boring. So this is cute. For the yellow one, it was chain 3, turn, and then you double crochet all around, including the first stitch all the way through. See, it still does those little wavy bits at the end, so it's not super straight, so I won't use this one. The orange was chain 3, turn, and then you stitch not in the first stitch but in the second stitch, and then double crochet the rest of the way. This created holes, but with this wavy effect the holes are a lot smaller. You can still see the first one, but then in the second one I only changed 2, and then I stitched in the second stitch from the hook. So see, there's a lot less holes. You can barely see them. So this is a good one. This is a good method. I like this one now. For the pink one, it's also very straight. It was the one where you chain 2 and stitch in the first stitch and then double crochet all the way until the last, and you put 2 double crochet fused into 1 at the last stitch. I love this one. It's For the purple, it's single crochet in the first stitch, then another single crochet in the post of the stitch you just made to create the double crochet here, and then you double crochet across, and it makes a nice little straight edge, and it's beautiful. It's nice, uniform. Now I have to decide which stitch that I want. I definitely do not want this one because I don't want the wavy bits. I did like this one now that I used the knitted method, and these two. So now you have to make a decision which one you want to. So I decided not to get this one because I'll be sewing these edges together. And when I do, Like, I feel like the little holes will get in the way. This one, if I sew the edges, it's really nice and tight, and I don't think it'll be see-through. So I'm gonna use this one. Same with this one. If I stitch the edge, I feel like I would have a hole. I don't want that. So I'm gonna be doing this one, which is this one too. See if I stitch my patchwork together, like I have the double crochet here, preventing from there being holes. Now that you decided which method you want, I decided for the pink one, you need to figure out how many stitches and rows you need to get 10 centimeters wide and 14 centimeters long. So for the pink method, I need 17 stitches wide to get 10 centimeters. And now I need to figure out how many rows I need to get 14 centimeters. So I'll be back for that. I did it. I was able to make the square 10 centimeters wide, which is 17 stitches, and 14 centimeters long, which was 12 rows without counting the base. Victory! So I did my pink one. It is perfect. It's 10 centimeters wide and 14 centimeters long. So that was 17 stitches and 12 rows. Perfect. Now we can start the real cardigan with the real colors. Whee! After finding which gauge and which crochet hook you're gonna need, you would want to probably find the color palette that you want to use. You need 6 colors so you can do your research. I did some of my research. Pictures here. Hey everyone, I decided to make like a houndstooth pattern. This is it. It's just the reverse side. It's the same. Don't you think it's wonderful? It just looks like strawberry and cream. I think it's so cute. I'm gonna show you how to do it, and I'm gonna make 13 of these too. So we're gonna begin by doing a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 20. Okay, so I'll see you at 20. Now I got my 20 chains. I'm going to chain an extra 2. Yarn over, and then we're going to do a double crochet right in the 1, 2, and the third one. And then we're going to do 2 more in the next 2. But we're gonna stop right here so that we can change colors. Put it like this and go through. Here we are. We're going to double crochet with the beige yarn. To the next one, this one, and then when we get here we're gonna change back into pink, but you got to be careful not to get it tangled. So we're gonna go to the back here and use it like this. What I find useful is keeping the beige on one side and the pink on the other, and just make sure that they don't get twisted. And then I double crochet in the next 3. Another thing to make sure is that when you go into a stitch, you grab all the yarn together so it like disappears into the double crochet, just like this. So you don't, well, you're not gonna see it. See, it's like inside. Okay, so you're gonna do that, like make sure like this. I'll show you again. to grab the yarn. See, it's like inside. Stitch. This is not easy, it's slow, but you can do it. I have faith in you. This is a little bit more difficult. It's not that hard, it's just keeping track of the yarn so it doesn't tangle. That's the tricky part here. Okay, we're on the last stitch. Off-white right here. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna change to pink. Okay, you're gonna flip your work over, making sure everything, all the yarn is untangled. You're gonna flip over, make sure your yarn isn't tangled, and then you're gonna chain 2, and we're gonna do the reverse. So this is beige, so it's gonna be pink, and then this is pink, 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 so it's gonna be beige, beige, beige. Okay, so first one is gonna be pink. Don't forget to grab your loose yarn, and we're gonna go in the back only to create that wavy knitted effect that I like. Ta-da. And then you change again to off-white, and then this is pink, 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 so it's gonna be off-white all 3. And it's as easy as that, and you continue going back and forth like this until you get, for me, 13 rows for 14 centimeters. And the reason why is because it's stitched a little bit tighter. So I'm at the end, and I see the next 3 are going to be pink, so I'm going to change this to pink. Chain 2 and start over. So this will be pink, 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 off-white, pink, pink, pink. So see how it makes this little nice little effect? It looks like a houndstooth or like a basket weave. I like it. It's cute. I'll show you a finished one again. Look at this. It's so cute. You can use either side, whichever one you like. But it is so adorable. So that's how I made this. So cute. So 13 rows and 20 stitches because the stitches are tighter in this one. So that's why I needed 20 instead of 17 and 13 rows. Finally done, 13 of each. Now I'm going to lay them out like I want. So I laid down the rectangles like I wanted them to be. This is going to be a side, front, 1, 2, 3. Then the back is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next 3, 1, 2, 3 is the other side front. We're gonna sew them in groups of 6 so it's easier. So we're gonna sew these together, then these, and then we're gonna sew in the middle. We're gonna do the same with the side here. And the back we can separate right here in the middle, and then sew here. And then when that's done, I'm gonna lay out the sleeves with my leftover rectangles. One thing to make life easier is to identify your section. So this is the front, the back, and the front, and you can also pin the rectangles together so that they don't move around. Another thing to note is that you don't want the same colors to be adjacent to each other because it won't look nice. Like for example, if I switch this pink from the front with this pink in the back, see, they're going to be sewn together here and it's not going to look nice, these two pinks together. That's why you want to spread out the colors. And I don't like doing it randomly because then you'll have a section that might be more off-white, another one that's more pink. So I just followed the pattern all the way through and it looks more evenly spread out. Can't wait to sew them together. So none of the colors here are the same, or here. Awesome. And the center front here and here also not the same colors, so I'm good to go. When choosing which side you like best, it's not that important, but what is important is that you choose the same side for all the rectangles so that they do align together, so it looks a lot nicer and neat and perfect. So we're about to sew these 6 together, but before we do, I want to make sure my rectangles are nice and aligned, and they're not. See, they don't look the same. So let's find the match. Oh, that's good. See, they're aligned. So nice. And this one's good. Okay, so we're gonna sew here, and then we're gonna sew here. These 3 are gonna be done. Make sure that they are in the same direction. This one is, this one is. This one's special. It's not sewn exactly the same way. So you just decide which side you want. Which side you like better. I like this one. It's a little bit more contrast. So then we're gonna sew here and here. And once these 2 are done, then we can sew them together like this. Exactly the same thing for this one. I'm gonna sew these 3 together, then these 3, then we're gonna sew them here. Once we're done with these 6, we're gonna go to these 6, and we're gonna sew them together here. So then our side front is done. We're gonna do exactly the same thing with the other front here, and the same with the back, but we're gonna leave this free for now because we're gonna be sewing the sleeves at the top. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna sew these together. So for this part, you're gonna need a tapestry or darning needle and little scissors. I'm gonna sew these together. So I put them in the right direction so that they all match up. So I'm going to do this one first. So I lift a long tail here. I lift a long tail here so I can use it to sew. And then what we're going to do is go in to the next loop here, and I like to go in through it twice. I'm gonna go back just to start it, and then through the same one, and then matching up here the lines, you sew in a loop on one side and then in a loop on the other side. And you do a few of these stitches. Remember to keep lining it up as you go along. And when you do a few stitches, then you pull on it a bit to secure it and make it pretty. So see, there's like no stitching lines, so it's really nice. Okay, and then you continue all the way. I like to make 2 knots here. And if there's no 2 threads, then I make the knot with the yarn here on the inside. And then the rest of the thread, I weave it inside here, so, in the appropriate color. So I weave it in through the threads. So it doesn't show on the other side, and I weave it back 2 more times if possible, just to make it secure so it doesn't escape. And weave. this one's really short, so I have to re-thread the needle. And then cut. I reuse this as stuffing, and I do the same with the other thread. If you see any loose threads like this, just weave it back in so it's nice and neat. Now that you're done stitching here, we're gonna do the same thing here. To sew this bit, I don't have a piece of yarn that's long enough, so I'm just gonna use piece of yarn myself. Just gonna use it. Nice long piece. And I'm going to go through the two here to here to start it, leaving myself long enough to go all the way. And then later I'm gonna make a knot here and weave it back in. So then you do the same all the way to the end. So we're at the end here. What I'm gonna do is make 2 knots. And then I'm gonna weave it inside. Find a nice little spot. And make sure that you don't see it on the right side. You're working on the wrong side. And then you just weave it in here. And back. And one more time, just to secure it so it doesn't unravel. Then cut it. See? Nothing. You can't see anything. Okay, now that you're done these 3, you're gonna work on the next 3 here. And then when you're done those 3, you're gonna sew them together here in the same way. Make sure that when you sew that the seams here align so it's nice and perfect. So I put a pin, and then when I get there I'll take it off and put it here, just so that I sew here and here the seams are gonna align perfect. Now that you're done this section, you can do the section on the bottom and then sew them together here. Here are my front, back, and front are all sewn together, and all the threads are weaved in. Now I'm going to show you the sleeves. So here is the beginning of my sleeve. This is the back, this is the side front, and I want to make sure that the colors don't match here. And this is the middle, the shoulder. And then I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, and 3 down, just like this other sleeve, and I'm gonna sew them together. So here are my sleeves. The rectangles are all sewn together, and the next step is to sew one end with the other end to make a cylinder. So that's a sleeve, and what helps is to identify the middle and what side. So this is the right side and this is the left side. Next step is to create the cuffs and the hem, and I'll show you that too. Here I made the cuffs. It's 7 centimeters by 25, and then I sewed it into a loop, and I'll show you how to make it. For the cuffs you will do a slip knot, and then you're gonna chain until you have 7 centimeters. For me that was 12. So I'm gonna chain 12 and I'll be back. I got my 12 chains. I'm gonna do an extra 2. And then I wanted the ribbing to be a little bit closer together than the rectangles on the main body, so I'm going to half double crochet. So I'm going to skip 1, 2 and half double crochet. So you insert the hook, yarn over, bring it back, so you have 3, yarn over and go through all 3 hoops, and you do this all the way. Okay, I'm on the last one here. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through all of them. Then you will chain 2, turn over, and do the same thing all the way through. This will create this nice knitted effect, and the ribs are a lot closer. I also use this technique for the hemming. Right here, the hemming, I did again 7 centimeters wide and about 100 centimeters long. When I'm done assembling the cardigan, I'm gonna measure the bottom and then make sure this matches. So I left the yarn attached so I could extend or diminish it as need be. So what we're gonna do is thread a needle, and then we're gonna go through right here, through the holes, up and down, zigzag, all the way around. And what this will do is permit you to gather it. See, if I pull here, it gathers it. So it resorbs the extra width that we're gonna need for this. So I'm gonna do this and I'll be back. So here, I did it. Now see, I'm going to pull the threads. And it resorbs, it becomes smaller, and you can move around the gathers to make it even. Okay, what I like to do is make it small, and then I'm gonna put this on the inside. What you can also do is fold this in half, so this will be with the seam and this will be in the middle in the front. Also, don't stitch the gathering stitch too close to the edge because you're going to be sewing here. So make it like a centimeter or centimeter and a half away from the edge. This is my middle, so I'm going to pin this here because that's my middle. And then my front 1, 2 is the green one, and I want to put this in the middle. Once you got this, you're going to sew all around like we did before. Like a nice little sandwich. What I also do is like this. This looks pretty good. And when I'm satisfied, I'm going to make a knot here just so it doesn't become loose again. Boom. Loosen it up. I'm gonna tie a knot. And then I'm gonna adjust the gather so that it's even everywhere. And then I'm gonna sew. So when doing the cuff, don't forget you want the wrong side to be facing you because you want to sew the right sides together. I finished the sleeves. What I recommend is to stitch here the same color as the cuff so it doesn't look weird. I accidentally did it in pink and it didn't look nice. Now my right sides are together, so my right side front is on the left and my left side is on the right. And that's my back right here. So what we're gonna do is sew these 2 squares. I'm gonna leave these 2 open and we're gonna sew these 2. You can also sew it like this. So I got my back here. This is my right front. I'm gonna sew here, leave these two open, and sew these two. Ta-da! It's sewn. The shoulders are sewn. Now for the sleeves. So I have my left side here with my left sleeve. I put the right side on the inside, and I'm gonna turn my sleeve right side out. Now it's right side out. This is my marker to tell me which sleeve it is, so left with left, and also it told me where the middle is, so I'm gonna take this off and put the pin right here so I know where the middle is, and that middle is gonna come here right at the shoulder. I'm gonna put it on the inside, put everything nice and flat. See, like a sandwich. The sleeve is here, and this is the pin that told me where the center was, and it's aligned with the seam here of the shoulder. And then we're gonna sew all around here, and then when that's done, you can sew the rest here closed and do the same thing on the other side. I found out that the seam here matches with the seam here, so I put a pin here, same with here, just to make it a little easier. And I also pinned it right here so it doesn't warp. I want everything to be nice and flat. Ta-da! It's done. Now I'm gonna measure the bottom here so I can put the hem, which I have here. So I measured the bottom. It was 128 centimeters, so I did the hemming here, 128 centimeters. I also located the middle and the quarter and a 3/4 mark, and I pinned them in the appropriate places. And now I'm gonna sew all the bottom. So I've sewed the hem, so now we're gonna do the opening. I measured from top to bottom here. It was 67.5 centimeters, so that made 100 chains for me. And here's my other one, and I'll show you how to make this so that the buttons can go through. So for the openings at the front, we're going to do a slip knot, and then we're going to chain however many chains we need to do the opening. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in the second from the hook, and then single crochet all the way to the end. I'm on the last stitch, so I'm going to do my last single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2, turn, and then we're going to double crochet across. So that means you yarn over, go into the 1, 2, 3rd from the hook, go through all the stitch, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, and you're going to do that all the way across. I'm on the last double crochet. Then you're gonna chain 1, turn, and then single crochet across. On the last stitch, single crochet, then you chain 1, and you finish off. You might have noticed that I didn't use black for the cuffs and the hem. That's because I thought the contrast was too big and it didn't look as nice, so I stuck with the yarn that I had left. So I had lots of dark green yarn. To make the rectangles, I was able to use some of the time only 1 ball of yarn, but most of them I needed 2 because I ran out like with 2 rows left. So I recommend having 2 balls of yarn just to be safe, and also to make the details. Yay! The opening is done! To do the color, we're going to measure around, starting from the middle to here, all the way around to the other side, the middle here. We're going to chain and then half double crochet. The color is done. Now I'm going to show you how I did it. first thing you're gonna do is do a slip knot, then do as many chains as you needed. So my collar was 50 centimeters, so I needed 70 stitches. So I'm gonna do just 20 just to show you what I did. I got my 20, then I'm gonna chain an extra 2, and then I'm going to half double crochet, not in the first second, but in the third. So that's insert, yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through all of the 3 loops, and you're gonna do this all across. Okay, I'm at the last one, so we're gonna do our last half double crochet. Then I'm going to chain only 1 and turn. And I want my edges to have a slight curve, so what I'm going to do is single crochet, decrease. So I'm going to take 2 into 1, so it starts to create a curve. I'm going to do it again. So what we're going to do to create the slight curve is going to go into this one, the first one, yarn over, go through, and then we're going to go in the second one, yarn over, go through, to create a decrease. See, it's starting to curve. And then we're going to half double crochet across until we get to the last 2, and then I'll meet you there. So we decreased the first 2, half double crochet across. Now these are the last 2. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to insert, yarn over, and insert into the next one, yarn over, to create that little curve, decrease. And then again we're going to chain 1, turn, and now we're going to do it twice. So in here, in here, so that's 2 stitches into 1, and we're going to do it again. 1, 2. See, it creates a little curve. Going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 until here. We're at the last 4, so again we're going to put 2 stitches into 1 and another 2 stitches into 1, and then you fasten off. But this is what it looks like. See, there's a nice little curve for the edge. These are the buttons that I chose in case you wanted to use the same ones. And this is what it looks like so far. I have 1 button left right here, and I'll show you how to put that one on. First, you're going to thread your needle and make a knot. Make it tight, tight, tight. As tight as you can, because you don't want it to do, and then you snip. Okay, so we threaded our needle. Now the first thing we're going to do is locate the middle. I aligned mine with the seams and the middle of the rectangle. So it's going to be here. We're going to flip, insert, go in through here, and then on the back we're going to go through the loop to create like a knot, and it's going to be stable. Then we're going to go back through the same hole that we did, go through, and then thread the button. Back into the same hole that we went through. Make it nice and tight, but not too tight, because then you'll like, ugh. I want it, the thread to break, and then go through the loop and make a knot. I like to make 2 knots just to be safe. And just for extra measure, I'm going to do another one. Tight, tight. And that's it. Now I'm going to put on everything and show you on a mannequin what it looks like. Oh my god, guys, look how cute this looks. Ah, my best friend is gonna be so happy. This was a challenge. It was long. It took like exactly a month to make. If I were to remake this, I would make sure I had 2 balls of yarn of each, first of all. If I were to redo this for myself in different colors, I would make it like smaller, so like half the size of these rectangles. I would probably make it a crop top, so like to here, and then add the rib. And also, it would be interesting to have a hood. I think a hood would be cute too, so maybe I'll make a hood next time. Let's check the back. Oh, it's so comfy. So this is what it looks like. It's nice and comfy and warm. It's like a hug. Has a little bit of weight to it, so it's like a comfort blanket. I love it. I hope my bestie loves it too. It took a month to make, guys. It took forever, but so worth it. Popular this summer from Mr. Styles. I forgot his name again. Palette, and I got a cat. Hello. More cuddles, okay. And single crochet, okay? Yes, kitty cat. What you want? You're so cute. That's more pink, or a section that's more green. Hello, kitty. Yeah. Yeah. Made. Oh, hello, cat. 100. Yeah. What? If you ever wonder what to do with these little things, I recycle them. So like I have a little container with all my metal, like bent needles and stuff. So I put it in here, and then when it's full, I'll recycle it. Ever wonder what to do with the leftover fabric, your remnants, the yarn, even your dryer sheets? It's clean, so I made a poof and just put in the poof. That's where all my remnants go, in the poof. There is some weird kind of satisfaction that I get from just destroying my work. It's so therapeutic and hypnotic. Just look at this. And it's okay if you make a mistake to go back and redo it. You'll just practice and then you'll get better. Look at this satisfying thing. So soothing. Slow? Let's do it slow. Fast. Sometimes you need to take a step back take a big leap forward, right? So it's okay.